And there we go. Welcome one and all to Gaming Public Radio's GPR cast. I'm your host, Jacob Wagner. This week, we're going to be talking about video games. That's right. A video game show talking about video games. Yeah, I'm totally prepared for this show. I've spent so much time looking at this stuff. All right. All right, diving into all this news this week with me, I'm joined by Ricky and Luke. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
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 Good. It's been a week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's been busy for me.
It's been something.
It's been something.
Yep.
Anybody playing anything new?
No, nothing new. Same old.
Same old, same old.
Still doing Guardian games. That's pretty much it for this week.
Nice.
I got to chapter 6 on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Ooh.
So I just beat a really cool boss, and I'm at the beach now.
Okay, I just finished the beach. Like, I haven't played since right after stream on Sunday. So I'm heading on to the next place after that. So you've caught up quite a bit. I guess that's what a week of not playing does. Ugh.
Yeah.
I want to be starting like when I'm not at my screen playing some Unicorn Overlord, but that'll be when I get around to opening stuff up and getting through to stuff. So news. Let's just hop into this. Maybe we'll have a shorter one than Sunday. I mean, it's only been 4 days. There was a lot more news than I thought there was going to be in these 4 days, but
yeah.
Let's just hop on into it. So we're trying something new again today. Is that we're trying to like split up like talking about games in general, like video games themselves, release dates, trailers, roadmaps, kind of all of like the date announcement things in one area, and then like industry news as another separate thing. So we're gonna be going games, date things, and then industry, and then we'll keep the round table and everything else that we've got. So and Luke is just going up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, I see that.
For those of you who have been wanting to play Final Fantasy 16, but do not own a PlayStation 5, the PC version is in its final stages of optimization. It will likely be preceded by a demo.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. I did not get nearly as far into that game as I would have liked to. Last year was a bad year for gaming. Bad year for me to try to start games.
I loved it.
I've heard the story is really fun. I've also heard it's like extremely different from like 7. Like the 7 Rebirth compared to 16, these games could not be more different. One is like a party romp through the countryside, and the other one is lone dark horseman going up against the world, going.
Interesting.
So we don't have any, like, they just announced that was coming in, gonna probably be sooner than later, so keep an ear out and a lookout for news on that. PUBG, they're moving to Unreal Engine 5. What engine did they use before this?
Got me. I've never touched the game.
I used to watch all sorts of people who had it. Oh, looks like that tweet got taken down.
The PUBG one?
Oh, never mind. There it is. For some, why did I get locked out of my Twitter?
Uh-oh.
Rude. Well, as I'm getting back into that because that's where a lot of my information stuff comes from. Um, PUBG, yeah, it's apparently getting moved into Unreal Engine 5 this year at some point, and um, it's gonna just like mess with a whole bunch of environmental aspects of the game that just wasn't there before.
Mm.
So that should be interesting. It's Unreal Engine 4. So they're not really changing over so much as they are upgrading. That makes sense.
Gotcha.
So new login. Oh, that was me. Okay. Anyways, no, because like as I have really spent some time in the last half a year looking at different engines to build games in, like what are the positives and negatives of using Unity or Unreal. Pretty much
Mm.
everybody says don't build your own because it's not worth it. The time and the energy and the headache that it all is. And the only way that it would be worthwhile is if you start making over like $1 million in sales of your game.
Mm.
And that's when Unreal and Unity kind of both start taking money. Because, hey, you actually sold your game pretty well, so come on, fork it
Yeah.
over. So it's not like it's anything like major, because an engine's an engine. Supposedly Unity is better for 2D games and Unreal is better for 3D. I am not far enough along in my understanding of game development to understand why C sharp is better for 2D. In this instance, is better for 2D, and C++ is better for 3D. Because
Mm.
that's like the main differences of the two engines. But they even still have tips and tricks so that you are able to code and do things if you switch platforms, but you don't know the correct way to do things in your new platform. They still kind of let you fudge it a bit and do it the way you used to do it. So
Mm.
the languages are close enough to be able to do that. Not exactly one for one, but from my understanding of coding is that they are all fairly similar in how they work in a broad sense. How do you call up information that has been stored in files elsewhere or in memory? So that's just something interesting. Capcom. If you were interested in the Monster Hunter Stories series, uh, you can get a collection with both the first game and the second game, where you get the first game on a cart for Switch, and then you get your the second one as a download. Why can they not, whenever companies make collections, and when there's like two parts or two games or two different things, why must they put one of them as a digital download? Because so many of them that I have, like almost all like the Mega Man ones do that. Um, other, what other collections do I have that they end up doing this? There we go. feel like I've seen it more often, but maybe I'm just hitting myself for how prevalent it actually is.
Mm.
Who knows? It's still obnoxious when they do it though. You're able to get both of the games at once, so that's pretty cool. You can also you can order them right now on GameStop and um Amazon. They are $60. Um, Speaking of Monster Hunter World has sold 25 million units globally. That is a new Capcom record high for a single title sales. Pretty gosh darn cool. The game's worth it. It's awesome. It's great. And overall, the Monster Hunter series cumulatively have sold over 97 million. So a quarter of these sales are World, which is it's speaking pretty good for the game. Last week we talked about the Persona 3 Reload expansion pass that was coming to the game. If you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you can get it for free up until January 31st of 2025.
That's my birthday.
Ooh, happy early birthday? I think everybody
Or
else has.
belated, because it was just 2 months ago.
I wished you a happy birthday on your birthday or around your birthday this year. Did you believe I remember doing that?
I think it did. I don't remember.
Resident Evil 4 has sold 7 million units since its released last year. So the RE series have sold over 154 million, which is impressive. I am not
Wow.
an RE guy. I don't care for scare things. I don't really care for excessive blood, guts, and gore in my games. Every once in a while, like I'll be okay with like put it in a God of War context and I'll be fine. But
Or maybe Doom.
I have not played any Doom ever.
Oh, dude. I've been
I
playing
I,
that since I was like 9 years old.
I know that definitely is a big hit on my gamer card, but I don't even know if I own Dune and Doom, not Dune, Doom anywhere. I need to finish watching. I need to actually watch the first movie, and then this next
Not the
Black.
one with the rock in it.
No, the new one. Oh no, I've seen the Rock Dune. That was
Doom. That
Dune. Yeah, that was fun. No, I'm talking about
stupid.
Dune, the big
Oh,
sandworm.
Dune. I thought you were talking about Doom.
No,
I'm like,
I'm
the only
talking
movie I
about
know is The Rock.
Dune.
Okay.
With the big sandworm and all the basically crystal meth.
Yeah, the
The
Doom movie with The Rock is stupid.
oh, it's hilarious.
It's I'll say it's a good horror flick, but it's like basically what the Halo TV show did with Halo is what they did with same thing with
I
Doom.
think the Rock Doom movie is more of one of those like really early video game adapted films that are all just like campy and corny and ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so in that instance, like it was because of the era that it was in
Mhm.
of like we're just making campy bad things that like I
Yeah.
probably personally give it a pass just because it's just like nobody was following any scripts. Since then though we've actually had good video game movies. So like
Mhm.
my standards have risen. But like Doom came out or like we had some like the Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, um you what are some of the other the Mario Brothers 80s movie. it took Nintendo 30 years to get over that trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. Still waiting on Dragon Ball to make a comeback. I don't know if they can ever make a good Dragon Ball Z movie. Although I remember when Batman versus Superman came out, everybody was saying that that was the Dragon Ball Z movie we've all been waiting for.
The guy who played Goku in that, or this is not video game. Well, there's video game Dragon Balls. We'll go with it.
Yeah.
Apparently, since Mr. Toriyama died, the main guy, the guy who played Goku, has publicly apologized for the film.
Yeah, I saw that.
And this is like, dang.
It's like, well, you got my respect, whoever you are.
you just kind of got some like you did a crap movie, but you kind of regained some of your honor.
Yeah.
Now if only the guy who plays Master Chief would stop trying to say, "Oh yeah, no, it's good, it's good, it's good." Like, dude, I know this is your job, but you don't understand your audience at all.
Yeah.
You're trying to win over fanboys and girls.
We want to get more people into Halo. Okay, but even if that happens, they're literally going to experience a completely different Halo.
And as soon as they start going over to anything else that is like the actual game stuff, they're gonna be like, "What the heck is this? Isn't what I watched?"
Right. Why is his voice so deep? Why don't we ever see his face? Why hasn't he lost his V card yet?
I think that Hollywood as a whole needs to give other media's storytelling a chance in visual form.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Oh, it'll just never work. It never works. It never works." And it's like, when was the last time you tried making something that was like cut for cut? That's a rabbit hole we could keep going down.
Yeah, but let's not. Let's crawl back up.
Well, we could just bring it back with the RE movies. Those were the campy movies. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
All of those ones.
Yeah.
With
I like. There are a few that I liked, but there's like one. I don't remember what one it was, but the CGI all of a sudden was just significantly worse than the previous ones before that. I don't remember what one it was, so I stopped watching. I know a lot of people are upset about the Resident Evil show with Lance Reddick.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. Probably because I don't know much about Resident Evil, but I don't know. I liked it. Except for the teenage melodrama.
Da-da-da. It would have worked on CW then.
Yeah. I wouldn't watch it again.
Atlas. Poor Atlas. I don't think they realized what they had from Vanillaware here. With Unicorn Overlord. But apparently they can't keep physical games in stock in Japan. And to put that in perspective for how many they sold in Japan, at launch physically in Japan, it debuted as #1 and sold almost 75,000 units. 41,000 of those were Switch. 24,000 were PS5 and 9,000 were PS4. And so they're like, we can't keep it in stock. And then there's like all these retailers in the US who are like, we have no more collector's edition anymore. We just I may or may not have snagged one when I shouldn't have. I put it in my cart and I bought it and I'm like, no, I should just get the normal one. And so I went to like stop and it was like, oh, never mind. It's already kind of being shipped, so I can't stop it. Well, crap. All right, I'm just gonna keep it then. I will open it. on stream.
Hmm.
Take off my address here. This is the stuff that Japan is not able to keep in stock. And we'll go the other way. As we do an unboxing video live. I found this knife on the ground while I was in seminary. It was in married housing area, so I just kept it. So here is, it's heavy because there's a board game in it.
Really?
Yes, they made a board game to go with it.
Wow.
Night Powderbox art book. It's a card game. I watched like a YouTube on it, and it's like it's interesting, but it's just like, man, there's actually a card game in this dumb thing. But apparently this game has just been like, it is the like a rejuvenation of the tactics gameplay style. That, you mean, like, we've had all sorts of Fire Emblem games out in the last few years, and that's kind of been dominating the genre space. But flip this right out. A very fancy box. And then to keep opening it, it's a magnet. It's a magnet little like flop thing here. Game. Then art book. Oh, this is the there's 16-bit arranged music. An art book. I'm crushing things. And the card game. So that's all a lot of super fun. Now that I have it open, I might actually start it.
That's the first step.
It was. All right. Anyway, that was unexpected. Let's keep going then. The Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection came out yesterday. It came out yesterday, which was fantastic, which was awesome, which was cool and great. Aspire decided to be dumb about it, though. Apparently they only launched the game with 3 servers open, 3 multiplayer servers, which was 192 players because they could hold 64 players each. It is sitting at a mostly negative review, everything right now, with over 1,000 reviews and only 21% are good. I'm gonna guess that that's even worse at this point. This story of this broke how long ago? That was at 5:31 a.m. Central, so almost 14 hours ago. Let's look at Battlefront. Classic Collection. It is at 3,365 reviews. Overwhelmingly negative. Only 19% are positive. Because people are just pissed at the state that this game was released in. Now, like, I try to give companies the benefit of the doubt a lot of the times when games are released, because making games is not an easy task.
Yeah.
But this is their third game in a row that has sucked. They made the KOTOR release for Switch. They had promised DLC.
Who's a developer?
Aspire.
Oh.
They seem to make a lot of like bringing games from the past into the present.
So they don't really aspire to do much.
Apparently not. They had announced some brand new DLC for KOTOR 1 or 2 to come on out. And then after a year it just kind of quietly just like disappeared from all conversation from them. Then they made look at the different things. They made the Tomb Raider remastered that came out recently. Apparently that's kind of also a buggy mess. There was one more Star Wars one. There's one more Star Wars one that they did, and they like because it is the third Star Wars collection that they have done, and which is like none of the Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast. Is that it? That might have been it. Apparently, it has not been smooth sailing for them in these Star Wars games. I don't know what it is about them, but sessions for these online matches, when they actually can get into them, they're laggy. They're glitching everywhere, throwing characters left and right for no reason at all. Now, I never played in a multiplayer. Like, I always just played against the AI, so like I don't think I would care that much about all of this going on if I had gotten it yet. But it is sad that this is happening. Aspire has at like 2 hours ago put out their response to everything. We'd like to thank the Battlefront community for their overwhelming support and feedback for the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection release. At launch, we experienced critical errors with our network infrastructure. The result was incredibly high ping, matchmaking errors, crashes, and servers not appearing in the browser. Since launch, we've been working to address these issues and increase network stability, and we will continue our efforts until our network infrastructure is stabilized to prevent further outages. Please continue to report bugs, errors, or unexpected behaviors to our support team via our request form. Sincerely, the Aspire.
Aren't they the same team that's also handling the KOTOR 2 remake for PS5?
So they had the KOTOR remake. They got kicked off that project.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yes, probably because of all of this.
Sure.
With all of like the layoffs, with all of the different like mergers and all those different things, I think I just heard about this today. That it was really unsure if the project was continuing. But okay. So this will play into something a thing that we'll talk about later, but Saber Interactive is now the one who is developing and publishing Star Wars KOTOR remake. And spoilers for some of the stuff we're talking about ahead. They were just sold by Embracer Group, not bought by them, But there's been some interesting things. I think they bought themselves out and like took a couple other companies with them. It was something similar to that. So we'll hop into that in just a little bit, but no, the KOTOR remake is still a go. Thankfully, it's not being done by Aspire. Wait a minute. Hold on, I just had a thought. If we're gonna do, there we go. Oh. Where is it? Where is it? Like I have this at my folks' place. Never mind. I don't have all of my games here yet. I haven't taken everything from my folks' place yet, even though they've moved multiple times. Anyway, so that's unfortunate news for Star Wars Battlefront. It is the Battlefront style, especially 2. That if your games aren't ready, what do? We spend more time on them.
Yeah.
If you have a section that's ready, you could try to release just that for people who have pre-ordered the game. That would drive sales numbers. But then you're also showing, hey, we want to make sure that this product is good when it releases. Because first impressions matter in this world.
Yep.
I'm really cynical tonight. I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine.
So after the Mario Day announcement of Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD coming out in May and June respectively, their pre-orders went live here in the States, and on Amazon it was the top selling game on Amazon. Like there were other things above it that were like just like online cards. But so the post that I found, that was last night, it was still going at 6:40 this morning in Central, and now I want to just see if it is still there. I'm not gonna. It is. It is sitting at number 3 under these two. So people are speaking with their wallets on this one. The next game on this list, like actual game, not money or digital gift cards or V-Bucks or anything, or controllers or consoles, is Mario Kart 8 at number 11 and Mario Wonder at 12. So like there we go. Yeah, so that's insane. And then 15 and 16 are Luigi's Mansion 2 HD and Princess Peach Showtime. How far do I have to get 26 before it's a non-Nintendo game? For an actual video game. And that's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And then the next one is Mario vs. Donkey Kong. And then it's Tears of the Kingdom. And then it's Luigi's Mansion 3. Then it's Unicorn Overlord on the Switch. Then Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Minecraft on Switch. No wonder these companies like PlayStation and Xbox think that their physical sales aren't doing anything. Because they're not in these best sellers.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, bad games keep getting released on Xbox and mostly Xbox, uh,
Yeah.
but also a lot of games have been digital only.
Yeah, and that I hate that that's where two of the big main companies are going. I, I would love to hear from Nintendo to see what they're doing.
Hmm.
Because I hope and pray that they keep going physical. Because yes, it's a bit more of a pain to sit here and have cartridges just everywhere, but and have to find them when you want to play them instead of just I'm just gonna download the thing and go. But then I have my copy. You can't get rid of my copy.
Hmm.
I can always turn my system offline, and you can't mess with my copy or my system. And theoretically, I can rip my file off of my. Supposedly, we are not lawyers, so don't take this as legal advice. But apparently, because you own a physical copy of something from some kind of law in the 80s with media, more often dating for the reason that like floppy disks and all of the external media of computers back in the day were so prone to failure and breaking that you had to have a digital copy on your computer.
Hmm.
So, but that's all that entire Yuzu thing from last week brought back into this. So, anyway, why didn't I put this down here? We're just gonna. That's it for just general like game specific news. We can just bulldoze through some game date announcement trailer, roadmap, that type of stuff. Capcom brought out a 8-minute video on Dragon's Dogma 2, presented by Ian McShane, so that's fun. Rise of the Ronin had their launch trailer come out. V Rising 1.0 launches on May 8th for PC. It's coming to PS5 later in the year. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is getting a whole bunch of post-launch stuff coming their way. In March, these first 3 are free, and then this new story DLC later in the year is paid. But this first one is called The Warrior's Path. You get a speedrun mode, permadeath mode, and new outfits. So the speedrun and the permadeath, that's pretty cool. In spring, you're gonna get a boss attack, a boss rush mode, and more outfits. Summer, you're gonna get some new combat platform and puzzle challenges, along with some cosmetic things. And then late in 2024, there's going to be new story DLC. So people have said that this is legitimately one of the best Metroidvanias in recent years. Like I've heard quite a few people singing its praise, to liking it as much, if not better, than Metroid Dread. So that's fascinating. If you are somebody who likes video games but doesn't like playing video games, but would rather play a tabletop role-playing game, you're in luck. Lion Wing Publishing is bringing out a Shin Megami Tensei TTRPG. I think it's a TTRPG. It's what it looks like from all the pictures that I saw. Cause yeah, there's character sheets, there's enemy sheets. That it's totally a TTRPG. So fascinating. That's a branch out from a game that we don't see that often. For games to make their own role playing tabletop role playing. That's fun. If you're a fan of couch co-op, you're in luck. Sea of Stars is having a 3-player couch co-op mode come on out in the near future, where you can run around the map with there's 3 of you on the couch together, and you can all go in different directions. That's interesting, because your party team in this RPG, you're in groups of 3. I don't know how battles are going to work with that. If you each control your own character, that would be very interesting with those timed attack things. It's like, okay, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. And Sea of Stars has hit 5 million players for an indie game. That's pretty good.
Next, oh no, you got
Street Fighter 6 and Monster Hunter are having a collaboration anniversary 20th anniversary event for, I think, Monster Hunter's 20th anniversary coming up in April, which includes being able to go through the battle hub in Street Fighter in some Rathalos armor, and you get some a different arena to fight monsters in. In Monster Hunter, it's the Street Fighter lobby basically that you get to fight your monsters in. But I think we talked about, was it last week or the week before? Capcom is doing really well right now.
Yeah, so, last week.
Yeah,
Sunday.
Yeah. So it's great that they are encouraging each other's their own games amongst themselves to push them that way. Destiny, go for it.
Yep. So Destiny 2 Into the Light update goes live on April 9th, which will go through May something. It's in a previous stream in our notes somewhere, but April through May to prepare for the release of the final shape on June 4th. So that's April 9th. But also on March 19th, so next Tuesday, same day that the Stardew Valley 1.6 update is released. That
comes out in 5 days.
Tuesday.
Sorry.
Also 5 days. The Into the Light developer live stream is happening on that day as well. Cool. Next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. If you don't feel like doing the math, that'll be 12 p.m. Central and 1 p.m. Eastern. That'll be on their Twitch channel. It should just be twitch.tv/Bungie. Should be, either way, should be easy to find. And if you watch that stream, there will be Twitch drops.
Of course.
They've been doing a lot of that. Yeah, I have no idea what the live stream is going to be about. Maybe my guess is just telling us what Into the Light is about, because we have no idea what it is. We've never had an Into the Light thing before. So we'll see. I'll definitely be doing both Stardew Valley and the stream, possibly at the same time.
Multitasking, impressive.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just have the like a live stream open while I'm gaming if I don't feel like listening to all the noise.
Oh, that is the joy of computers and multiple screens, that you can have live streams up on one and you work on the other. Cool. That's great that's coming soonish.
Yep. Now something else will hold us over till June.
There you go. System Shock. That remake is coming out May 21st for PS4, 5, Xbox One, and Series systems. And I
Expo.
I copied that twice.
Hmm?
Typing errors. Children of the Sun is out on April 9th on Steam. Groundia HD Collection launches March 26th on PS4 and Xbox One. Physical editions are going to be coming from Limited Run Games. And Multiverses is releasing on May 28th. And those are your game date announcements, trailer announcement, roadmap stuff. Looking forward to more content from each of those games. If you are an aspiring artist, hit up Palworld. They're looking for a comic artist. Somebody who can draw their comics. And as I was checking, making sure to, I had seen a bunch of the other different news articles that were going over. There was an interview with one of the Palworld guys named Takuro Mizobi. Bloomberg did this, and some very interesting details. The game cost less than 6.7 million US dollars to make.
Huh.
The game has sold over 30 million copies.
So, how much money did they make?
Well, there's only 55 people on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think, what was it, $30? I think it was. So, Steam takes 30% of that. Let's just say they take 50% of it and go from there. 50 times at least 30 million. 450 million divided by 55. If it just went straight to all the developers, they would each get over $8 million.
Holy cow.
Like, I know there's like development costs and all of these other things that
Yeah.
you gotta put some of that money into. They could still be like, if they wanted to just like give them even most of it, like you take 2 million off of that, they're still getting almost 7 million.
Dude, they could all take all that and then retire.
Yes, like now. They are in talks to bring the game to more platforms. And by that, I'm pretty sure they just mean PlayStation, because I doubt Nintendo will let them anywhere near their system
Yeah.
because of the Pokemon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not
So sensitive.
Yeah. They're not currently in acquisition talks with Microsoft. I think there was some kind of rumor with that. So hey, that's the game. You don't have to make the prettiest, biggest, like, grandest games to make a bunch of money.
If it works, if it's fun to play, and even a compelling story, even though this one doesn't have one, because it doesn't matter, because it's so much freaking fun.
Well, like,
But
does Helldivers 2 have a story? No, it's just gameplay.
yeah, I haven't played it. I don't have PlayStation, so
Well, actually, I think it does have a story, but nobody cares about it except the fact that you're bringing democracy. You're bringing democracy to the galaxy.
yeah. Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what was I saying? A fun game, fun game, finished game, and if the story is integral to it, then a compelling story.
Yeah.
That's all you need. It's not that freaking. Well, I don't know how. I was gonna say it's not that hard, but I don't. It's simple.
How often can you catch lightning in a bottle? I think it's
Never.
kind of some of it what it comes down to, because you have to have the good idea, but then you have to be able to
Mhm.
implement that good idea. If you
Yeah.
cannot implement that good idea, it doesn't matter what else he can do, because like you have to be able to express your ideas in a physical reality.
Mm-hmm.
And like, sure, let's have the one franchise, the two franchises that push the envelope with graphics, with all these other things, so that we keep developing, so that we keep growing.
But they have to be good.
But that's not going to be your main source of income for most of the time. You gotta have the B and C tier things. You can't always have the quadruple S plus games. Sometimes you just have to settle for an A. I saw this one very soon before we started, but we didn't go by another week without any layoffs. Respawn was hit by 23 layoffs amid EA's ongoing cuts. So this is Apex Legends and others that are getting impacted by this. This is... Oh, no, because this was part of the 5% layoffs announced at the end of February. So, okay, this didn't happen just this week, but we're getting more information about the things that have happened. But to look on a brighter note, we have another sheep that have come back to the fold, away from the wolves. That is Embracer. Embracer has officially sold off Saber Interactive, the, now as we know, makers of KOTOR Remake, which is home to studios 3D Realms, Slipgate Ironworks, and more. It was sold for $247 million. There was a little bit of a PSA about the announcement. Embracer's official announcement of the deal is a little misleading. Jason Schreier writes, Saber is actually bringing along 4A Games, Metro, and Zen Studios, Pinball, through options which, combined with liabilities, amounts to a purchase price of around $500 million, as Bloomberg reported last month. In a letter to staff obtained by Bloomberg News, new Saber CEO, they bought themselves out, I think, confirms that they've already decided to take 4A and Zen, despite messaging from Embracer suggesting that it may retain the two studios. Today, dear Saber family, today, through a company we formed called Beacon Interactive, we have agreed to buy back the rights to Saber and all of its worldwide studios and exclusive contractor relationships. Madhead, Digic, Nibble Giant, Fractured Byte, Slipgate, 3D Realms, New World Interactive, SPL, Stuntworks, Vitex, 4A, and Zen through options. Totaling over 3,000 developers across the world. We have decided precisely on these studios for acquisition because we believe they represent the best of what Saber is and can be. This group comprises some of the most talented and creative developers in the world. Our track record, and more importantly, the projects we have in development, speak volumes about our capabilities. I truly believe that we currently have the best collection of game developers in the industry, thanks to all of you. So, they got out. We will celebrate every dang one of those.
Yep.
So, awesome. Great. And then back down the hole we go. Twitch is shutting down Prime Video Watch Party feature on April 2nd. I never used it, but I have seen I've seen many others. You had to have Twitch Prime, and you weren't showing the video on the stream, you were able to like group together and watch the show as a larger group together. And it's shutting down because the usage of watch parties on Twitch has declined over the years, because you're not really watching the same thing together. You are separately watching the same stream together at the same time. But you have to have Twitch, or you have to have Amazon Prime to do it. So
Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime?
they're the same thing.
Oh.
Amazon Prime allows you to have like the Twitch Prime sub and all that stuff. That's because Amazon owns Twitch.
Ah, okay.
On March 29th, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga Collection in Japan is getting delisted. Not outside of Japan, just Japan. Because the game that was released 2 years ago on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC, this Cowabunga Collection is getting delisted so soon. It's kind of coming as a shock. However, it's seemingly only affecting the players in Japan. Game Informer was reaching out to Konami to ask something about like the plans outside of Japan, but it's not going anywhere else. Why it's happening? Who really knows for sure, but that is concerning. And again, why you want physical media. I'm gonna hound that thing until we've beaten that horse to the front of the race. If you are a fan of Summer Game Fest, it's officially official. Friday, June 7th, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, 9 GMT. You can figure out your time zones from them. A 2-hour showcase of what's next in gaming is coming to a live stream near you.
As in your nearest laptop.
Exactly.
Nearest computer device.
Your phone.
Summer Game Fest.
And if you want to spend money,
YouTube Theater.
Who doesn't want to spend money?
Depends what it is.
The Steam Spring Sale is going on right now, and that will go through. That is going through March 21st. So you have a week with a spring Steam sale. If you really wanted to play Remake Integrate on your PC, that's half off. I have mostly a lot of RPGs on mine, so I'm not going to go through. Baldur's Gate is 10% off, though. So that's not much. It's only like $7 but it is on sale. You really want to play a bad Rogue Squadrons game? Star Wars Squadrons is only $2. But yeah, that's going on. It's usually the time you usually want to wait for the spring or summer sales. To more often the summer sale than anything else. If you want to get a bunch of Steam games and you can wait, always wait for a Steam sale.
Yeah.
Because it will do you better in the long run. And that is our news for the week.
Yay!
Let's hop into our round table and then we can Vamoose. We're just over an hour. We're at an hour for actual like stream. So
progress, but it's only been 4 days.
Yeah, I know, and that helps. That's why the show on Sunday was extra long, because we had 3 extra days. And those
Yep.
3 days, my word, they were full of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oriyama, Mario Day. Gah. Anyway, for our roundtable discussion this week, Hideki Itsuno, the director of Dragon's Dogma 2, defends the lack of fast travel in the upcoming RPG by claiming, can you move your
Sorry.
cursor?
Fixing your grammar.
I didn't write it.
Okay.
Defends
Somebody's
the lack of fast travel in the upcoming RPG by claiming that you'd only need it if your game is boring. Fast travel is something every player has grown accustomed to in the many worlds of video games in the year of our Lord 2024. So, what then are our thoughts on fast travel?
I like it. 'Cause,
Elaborate.
I mean, just because like when you've already like been through the area once before, having to walk through the whole dang thing again, like just to like turn a quest in or whatever, is incredibly annoying
Mm-hmm.
and way too time consuming.
Yeah, you got to be respectful of your player's time.
Yep.
Luke?
I agree with that. The only caveat I will say is the game Ghost of Tsushima. I love traveling through that world, going
Mhm.
through the different regions of the island. You see the different foliage and flowers and enemy encounters. I think there's a lot of fun to go through on horseback that way. But I also agree with Ricky. It's so boring to go through the same area you've gone through 4 or 5 other times just to turn in a quest or whatnot.
Yeah.
Also, like the older Final Fantasy games, like 1, 2, and 3, especially, all those random encounters with enemies isn't the most fun always. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
having fast travel is nice to bypass those random encounters you come across.
Yeah, I think your his statement that you only need it if your game is boring is a rather arrogant statement.
A little bit.
Um,
I know that Blizzard has talked about this topic extensively, not in terms of necessarily fast travel, but because of flying and flying mounts. And like they're like, we want you to walk and run through the world for a while, because I think it basically comes down to, we want you to appreciate all of the work we did,
yeah,
which I can understand. Like,
yeah.
hey, we put a lot of time and effort into some of this stuff, and you're just gonna fly overhead with it. So,
Mhm.
there's that mentality. It's like, please, like, appreciate the work that we did for this game for you. But that's not what's going through most gamers' head. Now, I think the only way that you could take this stance, respectively, is if your game isn't freaking massive.
Yeah,
Um, or
yeah.
or that it's like interesting traversal throughout the entire thing, like Super Metroid.
Mhm.
Because you don't really have fast travel in that game, but it doesn't take you that long to get from across the map either. Now you look at its counterpart for the Metroidvania, Symphony of the Night. It does have fast travel, but it's not the same kind of fast travel that like we're used to today, where it's like you click a point and go, you find the warp room, and then you just start cycling through the warp room until you
Mm.
get to the spot that you want to be. It's because the game is like the castle is more massive and you move slower than Samus does on on the Motherworld's planet or Motherbrain's planet. So fast travel has been in games since the Super Nintendo. A Link to the Past. Your goose.
Yeah.
That you use the flute to get you. It gets you to one of 7 locations.
Mm-hmm.
And every I don't think the NES had it, but I don't think the NES was capable of having it. And if the NES was capable of having it, anything before that was not going to be possible whatsoever. And so that comes down to a design element. It's like, what do we want our players to be doing? Do we want them to, like, what is the gameplay loop? Is the actual traversal through the world important? Or are you just making me do it because of your pride?
Out of principle.
Yeah. So it's hard to figure out how, like, necessary is if that fast travel is. It is, like, yeah, like you guys were saying, it is definitely a point for respecting the player's time.
Yeah.
Because if I have to spend 20 minutes just going to the place that I want to go to, and I have to be doing, like, actively playing the game during that entire thing, how is that activity being used? Am I gaining anything that will make me better? Or am I just doing 20 minutes of travel because you want me to feel the scope and scale of the world that you've built?
Yeah. The thing is, you'll fast travel locations are usually you have to like get to them to unlock them.
Yeah.
So you would have already experienced, that area of that game to get
Maybe
to
yes,
that
maybe
point.
no, because sometimes you can just beeline for the warp points. And so
That's
you
true.
aren't, like, you actually have to quest through an area. And, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if Blizzard's working for this is right, but I think it is at least a choice that could be met with respect. The idea that we will give you flying, but you got to, like, we're gonna wait for another patch or two. Like, you gotta, just so that you know what the world is, you know where you are, so that you can understand the layout of the space that we have, so that if you need to go somewhere or do anything, you're able to do it. And we'll still let you do, like, the flying points that we will automatically take you from one spot to the other. It's not like they don't let you have that. But yeah, this last expansion, they didn't do the Pathfinder quests. They let you do flying from the get-go with the dragon, right? Man, I spent more than half the expansion playing, and I don't remember its name. But I don't know if it's as cut and dry as he is making it, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as how we're making it either. Because it's, I think there's a nuance to it. There's an art form. It's just like an art form in telling a story. How do you tell a story? Do you tell it in overly expressive detail? Do you just hit the highlights? Do you go off on random encounters of random people that you will never meet again in the world, just to describe what the situation in X area is? Robert Jordan, you're dead, so I can't put you down that much. Well, that's actually, I think, a very interesting example. That Robert Jordan, the author of the Wheel of Time, 10 out of the 13 books
Series.
of Wheel of
Yeah.
Time, because he died from his cancer before he could finish his book series because he kept writing.
Yeah. And Brandon Sanderson took over.
And Brandon Sanderson took over. But Robert Jordan never met a background character he didn't like. I don't know how many chapters he has in these 10 books that are at least 500 pages, if not 1,000 pages. Where you just go up, you are just like a random farmhand, a random thief, a random dark friend. And you get to follow their life experience for a few hours to a day. But then they die or nothing happens and you go on to the next thing. Well, why in the world did that happen? Why did I have to read through that? It's because he wrote in such a way that you can't read these books once and actually understand everything that's going on unless you are like super intelligent. I am like halfway through my second reading of the series. And I've got to say, I understand what he is doing so much more now because I know where the plot is going. And I think that's kind of some of what Itsuno is going for. Is that like, why am I doing all of this? Why am I doing? Because as you're going, you may have missed something. So going over it again, you might experience something new. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. They have that feature, at least Breath of the Wild does. I don't know if they ever added it to Tears of the Kingdom, where you can see the entire path that you did throughout the game. And you can see if you missed sections, like there can be holes in your map and like, how have I never gone there?
Mm.
I wish more games would implement something like this. Because it's fascinating because you can actually see where you have spent time, where you have played the game. And so if you're trying to collect things, you can go like, well, I didn't go here, and I'm missing a Korok seed, and I know one is there, so I don't have to spend nearly as long trying to figure out where I haven't been because it already told me where I haven't been. But on the same time, too, like, gaming is a time-intensive hobby.
Yeah.
Going through Final Fantasy, going through Rebirth, you gotta set down a good hour or two each time you want to play. Because you're either doing a crap ton of side quests, or you're going through story, where half of that is cutscenes. Or mini games. Which I like, I don't mind. I love, I enjoy this game. But there's a balance in all things. Where are you gonna put the focus of your balance? What is the focus of your gameplay loop? What is the focus of this experience? Apparently for Itsuno-san, it's the world. And if you're going with like, oh hey, if an NPC dies, you're screwed. Well, you never would have noticed that they died if you didn't walk through that area. But would they have died if you hadn't walked through the area?
Mm.
I don't know. I wouldn't doubt that they will probably they may introduce it later. Because there have been very few games of recent that don't have some kind of fast travel.
Yeah.
If it's a big open world. So. is let's go to the meta aspect of it though. Is the reason for it or the need for it a good thing for games?
Um, I mean, I'd say so, just because the time factor.
Yeah.
You know, uh, like if I want to turn in, say, say I want to turn in a side quest before I log off,
Yeah.
like I can do it in like a minute or less than a minute with fast travel, or I could be like, do I have 20 minutes to walk through this whole damn place again?
Yeah.
And probably not. And it's just facing the facts that most, well, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think that most gamers are adults who have lives, um, which means we have less time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. For me, I've never had a problem experiencing the story when there's fast travel.
So what would happen if your quest just automatically turned in a game like that? Would we need fast
Mhm.
travel? Like, are there
Probably not.
other ways to add to the gameplay that
Mhm.
would nullify fast traveling?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, possibly. I'm like what you said, automatic completion turn in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that would be great. Because even with fast travel, I hate having to go all the way back there just to turn it in.
Yeah.
Even it's a minor annoyance, but I think that was like if that were in it, or like you complete the task and then it's just done, or maybe have a menu option to turn it in.
Yeah.
Um, kind of like what Destiny does with bounties now.
Yeah.
Because before you used to have like in Destiny 1, you had to go all the way back to the tower to turn in bounties.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, I don't remember when, because it's been around for so long now.
Yeah.
You just go to your back menu and turn it in. That would
So
solve the issue for me.
if so we've thought of one way to make fast travel not necessary. And so in he's saying your game is boring. But what if your game is lazy? Would that be a way to look at it? Like, is this lazy game design to say you didn't try to think up some other way to make it so that you are more involved and experienced in this world instead of just skipping around from place to place?
I don't know if I call it lazy. Maybe it would depend on the game. Like with ESO, that game is so freaking massive. Like to travel from Skyrim to
I think
Oridon.
I think that's the crux of the issue. Our games, like I don't know if you've ever seen these videos where it's like we're going to show you the actual size of these maps, and it just starts with a small one and it goes up to like these stupidly massive size games where it's just like you're at a 1-for-1 step. Like every step in this world is like how much of a step you would take in a real Earth, which is just like I don't need a game that big
Yeah.
because you're not going to be able to fill it with enough things to make it worthwhile to have a world that big. Maybe that's what he's talking about, where it's just like you have just made a game so big that you have to have fast travel because there's literally nothing there for
Mm.
you to do as you're going from place to place.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
I'm not saying that like yeah, I'm being devil's advocate in defending him a little bit, but it's
yeah.
I don't think it's something worth dying on a hill for.
No, definitely not.
Because it is an accepted aspect of gamings. Oh, we can fast travel. Thank you. That way I can just get to my stuff faster. Or if I need to stop quick, hop back to town, save quit.
Yep.
Turn back on and go.
Yep.
You got any other thoughts, Luke? You've been quiet tonight. You got noise behind you, probably?
Still muted.
There you
Sorry.
go.
There we go.
Couldn't figure out my mute button. I don't know. I kind of echoing what Ricky is saying with Quest, and I will say I'll go back to Ghost of Tsushima. Was something that was kind of annoying for that game without fast travel is having to upgrade your armor and your weapons.
Oh.
So stuff like that would kind of be a hindrance without the fast travel aspect. I kind of like what Final Fantasy Rebirth has done with their folios and their if you need to buy potions and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like truck stops basically, or bus stops basically, where you can where you can restock where you can restock your supplies, where you can rest, you can update your magic. I think it's pretty cool.
And that's the only like upgrade thing that you need to be at a specific spot for. Like your weapon upgrades,
Right.
you can do as you go. I don't necessarily think that like they needed to have the folio thing that to be at as a vending machine, but because that system is very reminiscent of 10 to me with a sphere grid.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you didn't need a hub for that. But I guess it keeps you like if you don't remember to get your new moves, then you're making yourself have a handicap. Oh crap, I have points to spend. But you can also like transmute items as you go too. So like, oh crud, I'm out of potions. You could do that somewhat in Legends Arceus for Pokemon. You would have to go to like to the beginning of the level, but you didn't have to go back to town to keep running around the open field that you were on. You could keep making Pokeballs because they kept giving you items to make Pokeballs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe there are just menu options for all those things, whether it's crafting or upgrading your weapons and armor.
Yeah. Or let you build up to that stuff. Like you start the game with nothing.
Right.
So you can't do this on your own. Eventually though,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I've played this game enough. I have earned the right
to
do these things. Which sucks on your next playthrough because you have to go back to nothing.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I think there is more to game design than we know, but it's also what do you spend the resources doing? Is it faster to just make a flight point than it is to make a system that you can do all of these things on your own?
Probably quicker to and easier to develop.
You just put like a flag down. It's like, here, this is something that you can warp to.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is lazy. I don't know.
Now, I do want to say though, we're talking about fast travel a little bit. Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man for PlayStation, you had the option to fast travel if you wanted. But I never did. I always swung through the city because I thought that was fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think if your design of your world, if it matches your style of gameplay, if it matches who your protagonist is,
Mhm.
and maybe fast travel isn't as important as it is, say, for like Witcher 3 or Ghost of
Mm.
Tsushima, or even like a Zelda game. Maybe if your game matches the fun factor, you don't need to be part of your game at all, I guess either. So I don't
I,
know.
and I think even then, it's like if you have your fast travel, because with Spider-Man, isn't there fast travel? It makes sense in the universe where it's like you're taking the
Yeah,
subway
you hop on a subway. Yeah.
and you have that extra little bit of a sequence. Yeah, I know it's a loading screen, but like,
Mhm.
give me a
Big deal.
reason for this thing other than I have this random wagon that has just stopped by and I hop out of it.
Was there fast travel in Batman Arkham?
The original, like the first
Well,
game,
any of
or
them. I haven't played the trilogy in so long. I just don't. I don't remember using fast travel. I had a lot of fun zipping around and gliding.
I don't think the first one did because it was
Hmm.
just the prison.
Yeah.
It was a small enough world.
Hmm.
That's a thing too. If you have a world that's contained in is an area, creating passages that will let you get to those areas quicker
Right.
is
That you unlock.
you
Right.
unlock that it is so much more fulfilling
Hmm.
of a gameplay idea. But you can't do that with
Yeah.
big open world games because why is this connecting to this?
I like what Doom Eternal did, where it's levels based, right? Where you play through the whole level, and there are some areas that you like unlock shortcuts to. And then when you're right at the end of the level, you unlock fast travel, so you can go back and like get collectibles or whatever, complete challenges. I actually like that a lot because like what because I'm kind of a completionist. I'm not an achievement hunter or anything, but I'm kind of a completionist when it comes to some games. And so I spend a lot of time like clearing out the area and then hunting for collectibles and such. And
Hmm.
on the one hand, I enjoy that, but on the other, it it's a little frustrating because I want to experience the game, but I don't want to have to like trek my way back slowly, like to get all those things, or the fear of like, oh, I can't come back to this area afterwards. So I kind
That
of
one.
liked what Doom Eternal did. But no, but my only gripe about that what how they did it was the notification that you unlocked it was too small. So sometimes I missed it.
FOMO is a real thing in video games.
Yeah,
I did look it up.
especially Destiny.
Arkham, some of the Arkham games did. Like Arkham City did have it, but again, it's like Spider-Man. You could zip around and have a whole bunch of fun as Batman, flying through this, literally flying through the city,
Yeah,
because you were hookshotting your way through
yeah.
and using your cape and.
Why fast travel when you can just be Batman? I mean, come on, or Spider Man.
I think those two have
I'm Batman.
a unique cultural difference to them that makes makes those like two cases specifically outliers
Hmm.
because you can be Batman, you can be Spider-Man. And
Right.
what nerdy kid doesn't want to be one of those two?
Yeah.
Oh well. I think we've belabored this to death. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm done being a devil's advocate.
We've made our point.
Yep. Gaming Public Radio is made possible due to viewers like you. Thank you. If you'd like to continue to support us or do anything along those lines, click that subscribe button that's down there. To be able to catch when we're live and see everything new when it comes on out. You can find shows like this here on the channel, Super Nintendo Super Show, and Play by Play. It's our PlayStation one that's going to be releasing soon when I don't have a week. I keep saying that. I keep making excuses. I'm sorry, Luke. You've made this thing. Ricky, you have one waiting in the wings now for me, too. I need a name for you for that thing, by the way, eventually, but not right now. You can find Luke at...
Luke?
Oh, sorry. Goose 618, pretty much on anything.
Awesome. And you can find Ricky at...
Righteous Lutheran. That's righteous with a W. And on Twitter, it's Righteous Lutheran. And then Instagram is just Righteous Lutheran. Righteous with a W.
You can find me, Hello Foxmoon, at anywhere as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic night, day, evening, whatever you are at. You can find more content for Excellence Gaming right here on GPR. Until next time.